Because it will not sell and shut down like Discord or no, I mean Concord. No, I don't think so. I'm gonna buy and play this game. I'll be jumping to play this game because I've been missing like a much more like streamlined extraction shooter experience, and this game is looking to deliver on that. Because like that was the biggest problem with Concord, that people just were not interested in it. I mean, that moment we all had that moment where when we saw the reveal trailer, right? Like Concord, and it like showed like this flashy gameplay, cool art style. You're like, all right, interesting. And they're like, Concord is a 5v5 hero shooter. And you're like, no. Nobody's interested in Marathon. It's because you're not interested in Marathon that you want to walk around online to try to prove your point to everybody? Because that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, there are still like 7,000 people just watching, almost 8,000 people on Twitch alone watching people play Concord right now. Like, Marathon, goddamn. Have you seen the feedback / comment sections? Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people who are criticizing this game right now aren't really much of extraction shooter players. And they're kind of like, why is this not Bungie? Why is this not Destiny? How come this doesn't play like Halo? It has that DNA in there, but it plays very different than those games. I don't expect this game to be as big as Halo or as big as Destiny, because I think those two games have much more general audience appeal, where this is much more of a specific shooter vibe. And I think a lot of people are getting kind of burnt out on the Battle Royale genre and looking to see what the next big thing might be. And right now, there's definitely interest in the extraction shooter side of things. Rumor has it that Call of Duty is making their extraction shooter as well. Or remaking it, I should say. Yeah, this will absolutely do better than Concord. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have blind faith in this game. I'm expecting it to kind of have a Bungie launch. And what I mean by Bungie launch, as in the foundations will be there. The core gameplay experience of moment to moment, when you're in there playing the game, it's fun. But everything else that surrounds the game is going to be lackluster and needing improvement. And I'm starting to get that kind of same experience with this game as well. This goes all the way back to like Halo Reach, or even maybe a little bit of Halo 3 back in the day with Bungie. Because I was there at launch with those Halo games. I played those games day one, and I was online, seeing the community sentiment back in those days. Especially with Reach. Reach at launch, not good. People hated it. It was like, people were like, how could you do this to Halo, Bungie? People look back at Reach now being like, it's the phenomenal peak content game. And yeah, it had the most content you've seen in a Halo game launch ever. But the gameplay sucked. It really did in Reach when it launched. After a year of patches and updates and things like that, got into a really good state. The MLG settings that they had in Reach for like the final settings, I really enjoyed. It was like MLG, version 7 or something like that. It took a while, but there was a good game there, but people kept playing it. And also the campaign was amazing. Firefight was really well executed in that game as well. Core gameplay experience was good. The surrounding mechanics around the game, not so great, right? Same thing with Destiny 1. The core gameplay experience of moment-to-moment gameplay of playing Destiny 1 was fun. But the loot, the progression, the grind for the game as well to get up was just not fun. A year worth of patches and updates. Taken King comes out, game's phenomenal. Same thing with Destiny 2. The game launches, core gameplay there's a lot of improvements made from Destiny 1, but it's still like grind, the progression, the thing that kind of keeps the carrot at the end of the stick just wasn't really well put together. A year of updates, patches. Forsaken comes out, game's phenomenal. And from everything I've seen from all the developer interviews with this game, everything I've seen when it comes to player sentiment about this game as well, and from my experience of playing this game for I'm up to like level 23 now in this alpha, so I've been playing a lot of hours. Grand total of 15 hours I've put into this game so far in just the last few days. Right, this came out like this is like the third day it's been live, and I have that much time into it. I'll say that the big thing with it is that the core gameplay experience is there. Like the moments when the gunfights are fun, the mechanics within that are fun. The loot could be a little bit more exciting, or finding ways to get more higher end loot. I think there's something that needs to be there. Of course, I'm talking about the marathon ship being like the cool big thing that's gonna be coming out eventually. We'll have to wait and see. Apparently, that's like Bungie's ace up their sleeve that they're just kind of holding on for whatever reason, right? I do kind of agree what people are saying though with this game, that it seems to be missing like a intangible thing, the hook, the reason. I think Bungie has not done the greatest job of trying to advertise this game. I feel like they kind of just walked in like, it's an extraction shooter, right? You guys know extraction shooters, so this is like a sci-fi Bungie version of an extraction shooter kind of thing. But it's more streamlined. It's not as crazy as Tarkov. You can actually jump in and play without having to like, you know, read tutorials and watch tutorial videos on YouTube on just how to play the game. They kind of relied on that, I think, a little too much, and I think they underestimated the audience, especially on the console side of things when it comes to Marathon. People don't really know what an extraction shooter is unless you play like Hunt the Showdown or play DMZ in Modern Warfare 2, which I believe that mode was paywalled if I remember correctly. Or maybe it was part of the free-to-play experience with Warzone. I can't remember exactly, it's been so long. But even then, Warzone, or DMZ wasn't really that great at launch, but it really moved into something special. Console players have no idea what an extraction shooter really is or how it plays out. And it kind of like what Joe Ziegler mentioned about, like, it's about telling your own personal stories and creating those moments. The highs are really high in a game like this, like extraction shooters, but the lows are also really low. Where, like, you're kind of like, I went on a bit of like a L streak with last night. We lost like 5-6 infills in a row. We were feeling pretty down ourselves, just looting. We were just burning through all of our sponsored kits. Which, if you don't know what the sponsored kits are, if you go into loadouts right here, say you got wiped, you got lost everything, but you want to spawn in with something that's at least viable. You go over to the black market, you can buy into one of these, which kind of comes with a kit of like a weapon, some heals, ammo, basically the bare essentials that you need to be capable within the game. And so we were just burning through them like crazy. And I was like, man, I really feel like I'm just wasting my time doing this. I almost want to log off and maybe just touch some grass or something. You know, it wasn't good. We had one exfil we did really good in. You know, we got some like just above, you know, ground tier loot. And then next infill we went in, we took out like I think we took out 2 teams, got a lot of great stuff from off these guys. Exfilled felt phenomenal, right? Like, so it was like the high was really high right there, but the lows get really low. And I'm assuming that a lot of the console players out there are just like, I don't know who this game's for because they haven't really delved into an extraction shooter before. But I think people like Tarkov, people who might be frustrated with the game or just want something a little more streamlined, could really find enjoyment with this game. Personally, I'm really looking forward to this because, like I said, as a DMZ player, and that game stopped getting updates, the player base died off, it became just PvP all over the place. I've been missing this casual, like, I have this DMZ-sized hole in my heart that I want to be fulfilled so badly. And I feel like this game right here has the opportunity to do just that. I'm curious to see how this game will be at launch. Like, I've seen a lot of discourse online as well about like, oh, there's only 3 maps at launch. You can't launch a game with 3 maps, but like with an extraction shooter, 3 maps is way different than saying like an arena shooter like Halo or anything like that, or Call of Duty. Say if Halo launched with only 3 maps, yeah, that's a big problem. But in an extraction shooter, map quantity is very different. It's not really much about like the total number of maps. It's more about what can you do in those maps? What are the variations within the maps? You know, what's the purpose of them, right? Like DMZ, it was just one map. It was just the Warzone map. But I had no problem playing that map over and over again because there was pretty good variety within that map, right? Decent amount of player count within it as well to kind of keep the action up. I really enjoyed it, and I'm not really feeling any issue when it comes to the lack of map variety. I am getting a little tired right here so far of playing Perimeter a lot, because a lot of the early contracts are just like perimeter, at least for like the main contract stuff. Once you kind of go into like, say, like your factions here, and if you kind of go into like some of the side contracts, right? Like they'll kind of get you to like go over to like, you know, Dire Marsh and stuff like that right here as well. But a lot of like the priority contracts are very perimeter focused, so it's kind of feeling really repetitive for me at this moment. Dude, look what you made me do. You got me on this big ass rant about about Marathon, right? But I think it's just like, yeah, a lot of people don't really know what this game is about. Like maybe I think it's just something that's so new to so many players that they're not fully sure about if a game like Marathon's for them. They want it to be for them because, like, you know, Marathon is, or a Bungie game is something people want to play, especially since it's been so long since the last good Bungie game.